All right, you guys, I'm here to show you why the Geomag stabilizers are going to be your best friend for all of the Season of the Deep. Come along with me as I show you why Chaos Reach is the best boss DPS super in the new season. With Season of the Deep came a new artifact. This artifact has tons of arc perks on it. The most notable of which, for what we're talking about today, is going to be Thunderous Retort. We get bonus arc super damage if cast while critically wounded or while amplified. Lasts until the end of the super activation. What this means is that arc hunters got left behind in the DPS meta, and I'll show you why in a second. I'm just looking at his health. I'm not shooting him at all.
I think he's dead.
I'm not convinced, man. Like I'm not convinced. You get 20k out of the initial impact of the arc staff with the new artifact mod. And that's it. There's no lasting damage that's coming from it, which sucks. What's important to note is the perk above that one makes it so that we can stay amplified longer. So it's a lot easier to make sure that you're amplified all the time. And we're also gaining damage resistance while we're amplified. It's super easy to get amplified this season because we have access to more grenade energy from lightning strikes twice. And as part of a fragment, we have defeating jolted targets creates an ionic trace, as well as your arc grenades jolt targets from shock and ions. We can also make it so that arc weapon final blows have a chance to create an ionic trace. So all three of these are just going to be making it so that we have ionic traces and grenades all the time. Ionic traces give us back our ability energy, so it's just good to have these anyway. While we're amplified, our super is going to be doing more damage. Okay, well that's really cool. Chaos Reach hasn't seen any boss DPS use at all, but cool thing is with this, it makes the damage a lot better. And I'll show you that in a second as well. Oh, dude, that deleted him. With Chaos Reach, because ultimate activation lasts for the entire duration of the ultimate, you get an extra 16 to 24,000 damage per second, depending on how many ticks in that second you got. Over the duration of an 8-second ultimate with Geomag stabilizers, you'll be able to see an extra 128,000 to 192,000 damage. So I'm rocking this with Geomag stabilizers, which make it so that as long as we're damaging targets with Chaos Reach, it can double the duration of Chaos Reach. Okay, sweet. So let me go over the whole build. The mods you're looking for, all right? We want to make sure that we're using an arc weapon with an arc siphon. And then also, if you don't have high intellect, maybe using a font of wisdom, it's up to you. I was testing out the dynamo, but I'm not sure that it's worth it. Supposedly, it gives you 5% of your super back every single time you use your class ability, which you should have pretty much all the time. If you're collecting ionic traces, you can put down your class ability like every 2 seconds, which is also really good because on Warlock, you're going to be getting an Arc Soul, which is going to help you with your DPS a lot and helping you generate ionic traces. This isn't really super important, but make sure that you have an arc loader on. Everything else in here is pretty much up to preference. I just have an impact induction for making sure that my melee gives my grenades back and making sure that my grenades give my melee back. Then we have typical damage reduction mods, which, you know, one of each type. You can move this around depending on the activity that you're doing. In the new dungeon, I definitely recommend double arc because there's a lot of arc and relatively no solar, I believe. So double arc and void would be the play. And then, obviously, I have to have my arc weapon surges on. This is not a requirement, but it makes life a lot easier, because all of those ionic traces that you're creating will now give you an armor charge. So you're going to be constantly doing more damage with your arc weaponry, and because they're ionic traces, they come right to you. I don't have to go collect them like fire sprites. I don't have to have a fragment on to make the stasis shards come to me, and I don't have to go collect the void breaches. Ionic traces already come to me automatically. So it makes it really easy to have armor charges all the time. And then what I like to do is, this is a new armor mod, which makes it so that every time I use my class ability, it pulls all of the orbs that are near me to me. This is kind of a convenience thing. It's not a big deal if you want to go run around and pick them all up, but sometimes there's a lot going on. Bomber, just to make sure that I have my grenade back, because I'll be using my class ability a lot. This pairs well with this because I'm already using my class ability. And then a time dilation just to make sure that my armor charges are constant. To be honest, the time dilation probably isn't even necessary considering that, just the sheer amount of ionic traces that are coming at me. It's really hard to not have armor charges. If you would like to replace this, I feel like Reaper mod might be pretty decent. Or if you finish a lot of enemies, maybe the proximity ward will help you out, especially in the new dungeon, because there's all kinds of things that you have to finish as part of the dungeon. All right, so if you made it this far in the video, I thank you for being here. I'm sorry I didn't go over Thunder Crash Titans, which I imagine are actually faring pretty well right now. Um, but I really wanted to cover Chaos Reach since it got a 25% damage buff at the beginning of the Season of the Deep. And then also on top of that, we received artifact mods that are just going to make it absolutely juiced. Um, Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have fun on this new Chaos Reach build. Have a wonderful day.